Hi again, it's Emily back for week 3 to talk to you a little bit more about music and singing. This week I'm going to talk about scales, what a scale is in music, why there are different kinds of scales, and how we use scales as musicians and singers. I'll show you some ways to warm up using scales, and then I'll give you an example of some scales that I sing in an opera. So I hope you enjoy today's lesson. Let's go. All right, so what is a scale? I think the easiest way to think about a scale in music is to think of it as a group of notes that either all go up or all go down. So I'll say it again. A scale is a group of notes that either all go up or all go down. Now, thinking of those words up and down and the word scale can help you remember what a scale is. There are some words that we know from other things that also go up and down, and they have the word scale right in them. So take a look. We have escalera, right? Stairs go up or down. Escalator takes you up, takes you down. Both of them have the word scale right in it. So that's an easy way to remember what a scale is. A group of notes that either all go up or all go down. Well, now you know what a scale is, but what does a scale look like? I'm going to show you what a scale could look like, because scales can look a little different. Here's one scale. This scale happens to start on middle C. Remember last week we found middle C. Remember we have the staff, the treble, and middle C on its own little imaginary line hanging out right there. Now I don't have the bottom staff, the bass, on here, just the treble. But here's middle C, and here's what a scale looks like going up to the next C and then coming back down to middle C. So this is one way a scale could look on a piece of music. You can see the notes going up and you can see the notes going down. Okay, so we just learned that a scale is a group of notes that either all go up or all go down. There are lots of different scales that we can play using the notes on the piano. I showed you one that started on middle C. To explain a little bit better about the different kinds of scales, I'm going to have you come outside with me. Follow me. Okay, here we are outside my house. My house has some stairs. My stairs have a starting point and an ending point. I could get from the bottom to the top by going up every stair. I could also get from the bottom to the top by going up every other stair. Or I could go up one stair and then 2 stairs. I'm still starting in the same place and ending in the same place. I'm just using a different combination of stairs to get there. Scales are a little bit the same. All right, let's go back inside. Okay, we're back inside at the piano. So remember, when we were outside, I used my staircase to show you that there's a lot of different ways to get from the bottom stair to the top stair. You can use every stair, you can use every other stair, or you can do any other number of things to get from the bottom to the top. Well, scales are a little bit the same way. We're still going to pick a starting note and an ending note, but we can change how we get from the starting note to the ending note, and that will make our scale sound different. Now, I showed you this scale. Remember I said we were going to start on middle C. So this is what this scale sounds like on the piano. I'm going to play only white keys, okay? That's one way to start on middle C, play up the scale to the next C, and back down again, using only white keys. Well, what if I changed it? What if I didn't use only white keys? This is what it sounds like if I use a few black keys. See if you can hear the difference. different, right? Let me try one more. What if I use all the white keys and all the black keys between middle C and the C above it? Listen to this. Now those three scales all sounded completely different, but they all started on the same note and ended on the same note. So that's just one example of how you can have different scales that sound different ways. All right, let's talk about something else. Okay, so you might be thinking, why would you need all these different scales? Like, isn't the one scale good enough? Can't we just play just the white keys? Well, think about it this way. It's a little bit like picking out an outfit to wear. So you need different outfits for different things. You wouldn't wear the same thing to the beach that you would wear to church, or you wouldn't wear the same thing to school that you would wear to a sleepover. It's kind of the same way. Different scales sound different ways, and we use them for different things. It's also a little bit like picking out your outfit. So let's say you want to wear all black. That's great. What if you put on a red hat? The red hat wouldn't look bad with your outfit. It would look really cool, but you would notice the red hat. So scales are a little bit the same way. Remember, I said they're a group of notes that either all go up or all go down. And I played 3 different types of scales for you. You can think of those scales kind of like as outfits. Like one scale could be your all black outfit. One scale could be all white. One could be all pink. Sometimes we borrow notes from one scale and use them in another for a reason. It's kind of like that red hat. If you have a scale that's all black and you add one red note, that red note becomes special. Now, you don't need to know much more about that now. It's just another thing to think about, how cool music is. We have groups of things. We can borrow from other groups of things to make it sound different and make it sound special. So again, scales are groups of notes that either all go up or all go down. You can think of them a little bit as outfits. A purple scale, a red scale, a yellow scale. And if you need something a little different or a little special, you might borrow from a different outfit. You might put on a pink belt with your purple scale, or you might put on a red hat with your black scale. It's just another way to think about music. We have it organized in a really cool way, but within that, you get to play around a lot. And that's why it's possible to have so many different kinds of music, and scales are a part of that. All right, let's recap what I just talked about with scales. So remember, a scale is a group of notes that either all go up or all go down. You can remember the word scale by thinking of other words that have the word scale in them that also talk about things that go up or down, such as escalera or escalator. You can see the word scale right in these other words. I also showed you a picture of a scale so that you can see how the notes go up and down on a page of music to show a scale. We also talked a little bit about how there are lots of different kinds of scales. And in music, we use those different scales because they sound different and have different feelings and let us express more different things. So that's a little bit about scales. Now let's talk about how we use scales to warm up for singing and some really cool scales that I get to sing in opera. Okay, let's talk about how we can use some of those scales that we just heard to warm up our voices. First, I'm going to have you do something really silly with me. When I warm up, I usually start by doing things where I don't have to think about words. So I do things called lip trills. You can also call it blowing bubbles. Just try once without really making much sound. Can you try that? I'll do it again. Now, what would happen if we added sound to that? I know, that is pretty ridiculous. Try it once. Try making some sound and see what that feels like to blow bubbles with your lips while making sound. Okay, now what if we took those lip bubbles and the sound and we used it to make some of those scales that I played for you? Now remember, a scale is a group of notes. I didn't say how many notes, When I warm up, I like to use 5-note scales. This is what a 5-note scale sounds like. That probably sounds pretty familiar. I'll give you an example of what it sounds like to use lip bubbles to sing a 5-note scale. Now you can do that anywhere in your voice. You can go really high or really low. Listen to this. Or really low. Why don't you try making one with me? I'll play a 5-note scale first, and then you try singing it on lip trills. Okay, now you've heard it. Try doing it on lip trills with me. I know it's kind of silly, but it's actually a great way to warm up because, like I said, you don't have to think about words, you don't have to remember words, and it's kind of like a nice gentle stretch, like when you first get out of bed in the morning. It gets your voice moving without having to think too hard, but it also wakes up your ears because you're listening to those scales. So now I'm going to give you an example of how I use scales when I sing opera. Sometimes in opera, I get to sing scales really fast. One of my favorite roles to sing is Rossini's La Cenerentola, which means Cinderella, and I get to play Cinderella. At the end of the show, she talks about how her life changed really fast, and the composer uses scales to show that emotion. So let me show you what I get to sing at the end of La Cenerentola. Those are some pretty fast scales. Lots of musicians, all musicians, have to practice scales. I have to practice scales when I sing. The reason to practice scales on the piano or the violin or the flute or with your voice is to help your ear understand music better. Remember, there are lots of different types of scales, lots of different outfits to choose from. And if your ear can understand them better, it can help you make sense of it and help you find the notes you need when you need them. Thank you so much for watching this week. I'll be back next week to talk a little bit more about music and singing. We'll talk about what the difference between the white keys and the black keys is on the piano, and a little bit more about what your body does when you sing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.